Look at this tangerine. I mean, really look at it. It's here, basking in the afternoon light, and honestly, it's a masterpiece of marketing. You couldn't resist. You grabbed a bag, maybe even two, feeling a surge of victory. $5 for this bounty of sunshine? You thought, what a deal. But then, you get home. You bite down, ready for that burst of liquid sunshine. And nothing. Your mouth puckers, your teeth feel like they're melting, and you just stand there, betrayed, holding a handful of what looks like fruit, but tastes like a lie. In just the next 15 minutes, I am going to give you the keys to the kingdom. You will never, ever buy a bad tangerine again. To pick the perfect tangerine, we have to look past that superficial shine, that high gloss polish you see in the store. 9 times out of 10, that's added food-grade wax designed to seal in moisture and make the fruit look pretty. It's the equivalent of putting a filter on an Instagram photo. It looks great online, but in reality, it's hiding the truth. We need to become detectives. We need to use all our senses, our eyes, our nose, our hands, and even our sense of intuition regarding weight. We need to reject the artificial aesthetic and embrace the natural indicators of perfection. Let's break down the 6 traditional tests that never fail. These are the rules passed down through generations of citrus growers, the secret codes that the supermarkets don't want you to know about. First up, the most important physical test, the squeeze test. In the agricultural world, we growers have a specific name for this. We call it the pillow give. Tangerines, unlike oranges, are known for their loose, easily peelable skin. It's one of their greatest qualities. But, and this is a very big but, there is a razor-thin fine line between a wonderfully loose skin and a hollow, disappointing, air-filled fraud. If you pick up a tangerine, give it a gentle squeeze, and it feels hollow, puffy, or like there is a significant air pocket between the rind and the flesh, like you're squeezing a balloon full of marshmallows, put it back immediately. Do not pass go. Do not put it in your cart. That fruit is overripe, dehydrated, and on its last legs. As the fruit sits on the shelf too long, or even on the tree too long, the pulp begins to lose water through a process called transpiration. The juice vesicles, those tiny, delicate sacs filled with flavor and nectar, begin to dry out. They shrink and shrivel, collapsing inward. Meanwhile, the skin, which is more resilient, expands slightly due to the gaseous release from the aging cells. This creates that dreaded air gap. You don't want that air gap. You want to avoid it like the plague. Instead, you want a tangerine that yields slightly to gentle pressure, but feels springy, plump, and dense. That specific springiness tells you that the juice vesicles are swollen to maximum capacity with moisture, pressed tight against the inside of the rind. It will peel beautifully, yes, but more importantly, when you bite into it, it will be absolutely dripping with sweet, vibrant juice. All right, flip that tangerine over. Put the top down and look at the bottom, or rather, the stem end. Look at that tiny, circular button located right where the stem used to connect to the branch. Botanists call this the calyx. This little button is not just a blemish, it is a window into the soul and the history of the fruit. It is the fruit's birth certificate. Here's the secret code. If that button is bright green, it means the fruit was harvested too early. The tree was still feeding it, pumping nutrients into it. It was cut down before it had time to become sweet. It's a green light for sour. If the button is a light brown, tan, or yellowish white, it means the fruit reached full maturity on the branch. It ripened in the sun, it soaked up the sugars, and it was ready. This is your golden ticket. But, and this is crucial, if the button is missing entirely, or if there is a dark, blackish, or moldy ring around that cavity, that fruit is old. That is a danger zone. Botanically speaking, the calyx is the gateway for nutrients. When the fruit matures naturally, the tree actually seals this connection, forming a protective layer called the abscission zone, which dries out to that safe tan color. If it was cut green, the button stays green because the connection was severed too early. If it's black, that means fungi and bacteria have entered the vascular cavity and the fruit is actively rotting from the inside out. Look for the tan button. That's your green light to buy. Now let's move on to test number 3. I call this one the density test. And it is delightfully simple. It doesn't require a scale or a calculator, just the palms of your hands. Pick up 2 tangerines that look roughly the same size. Hold one in your left hand and one in your right. Close your eyes if you have to eliminate the visual distraction. Weigh them in your hands. Which one feels surprisingly heavy for its size? That is the one you want. Every single time. Why does this work so flawlessly? A tangerine's weight is almost entirely composed of water, natural sugars, and organic acids. That's it. There is no filler. A heavy fruit is a fully hydrated fruit. The plant cells are swollen to their maximum capacity. The juice vesicles are full of nectar. A light fruit, on the other hand, is mostly air. It either suffered from poor water transport while it was still on the tree, or it has been sitting in cold storage for so long that it has slowly dehydrated. Always choose the heavy one. It is the difference between a mouthful of explosive juice and a mouthful of dry, cottony regret. Now, I want to pause here for a moment, because picking the perfect tangerines is only half the battle. You can fill your cart with the most flawless, heavy, springy fruits in the world. But the war isn't over yet. Once you bring them home, you have a very limited window before they start to dehydrate, even if you put them in the fridge. And let's be brutally honest with ourselves. There are only so many raw tangerines you can peel and eat before you get tired of them. You buy a bag of 10, you eat 2, and suddenly the rest are just sitting there in the crisper drawer, looking at you judgmentally, slowly turning into spongy decorations. The real challenge is using them up before they spoil. It's the age-old kitchen dilemma. How do I turn this beautiful ingredient into a meal? That's why recently I've started using a helpful tool on my phone. It's called the SuggestDinner Android app. I'll be honest, I used to waste a lot of produce simply because I didn't have the mental energy to figure out what to cook. I'd stare into the fridge, overwhelmed, and order takeout instead. SuggestDinner solves that problem. It's perfect for those moments when you have fresh ingredients that you need to use up. Just scan what you have, like chicken, for example. Instantly, the app suggests delicious, simple, and practical dinner ideas. It's like having a personal chef in your pocket, specifically designed to stop food waste. Tonight, it's suggesting a sweet and savory tangerine glaze for my roasted chicken. It's the perfect way to use up those precious fruits I just spent 15 minutes hand-selecting. It makes sure that none of that gorgeous, hand-selected fruit goes to waste, saving me from the mental load of deciding what to cook. If you want to make sure your perfectly picked produce always finds a happy home on your dinner plate, and you want to stop throwing money and food into the trash, go to the Google Play Store, search for SuggestDinner, and download it today. It's a game changer for the home cook. All right, back to the fruit. Let's move on to test number 4. This is where we go visual again, but this time we are looking for a very specific texture. Look closely at the texture of the rind. You don't want plastic smooth. You don't want that waxy, polished look. Instead, you want a tangerine with a slightly pebbled, textured, almost bumpy skin. You want to see where the oil glands are densely packed together. Avoid tangerines that have a completely smooth, stretched, or artificially shiny look. That smoothness is often a sign that the fruit has been heavily waxed to mask its deficiencies, or that it is simply immature. Let's look at the botany for a moment. Those tiny little pores you see? Those are oil glands. When a citrus tree grows in optimal conditions, with plenty of direct sunlight, balanced nutrients, and the right amount of water, it produces a skin that is rich in essential oils. This creates that rugged, pebbled texture we are looking for. This high oil density is genetically linked to high sugar accumulation. The tree puts its energy into both the oil and the sugar simultaneously. Smooth, stretched skin often indicates either an immature fruit that was harvested early and waxed to look shiny, or a tree that was over-fertilized with nitrogen, making the fruit grow too fast and fill up with water instead of flavor. Trust the pebbles. They are the texture of perfection. Now, test number 5. You might think this is obvious, but you need to look deeper than just orange. You want a tangerine with a deep, vibrant, saturated orange, or even a reddish orange hue. This is the color of ripeness. Avoid pale yellow fruits, or any fruit that has light green spots like the plague. It's fascinating how this works. Tangerines get their beautiful color from compounds called carotenoid pigments, specifically one named beta-cryptoxanthin. These pigments are essentially nature's sunscreen. They only develop when the fruit is exposed to a specific combination of direct sunlight and cool, crisp night temperatures. A pale yellow or green area on the skin indicates that the fruit was shaded inside the canopy of the tree. It didn't get enough sun. Less sunlight means less photosynthesis, and less photosynthesis means fewer sugars, fewer nutrients, and less flavor. A deep, uniform reddish-orange is a visual guarantee of high sugar content. It's nature's way of screaming, "I'm ready to be eaten." Finally, we arrive at our ultimate test, the grand finale. Test number 6, the scratch and sniff test. Here is where we ditch the eyes and use the most powerful sensory organ we have for detecting flavor, our nose. Take the tangerine in your hand and use your fingernail to gently scratch the skin. Make a small nick or a scrape, preferably near the stem end. You don't have to gouge it, just a gentle abrasion to break the surface. Now bring it up to your nose and take a deep, deliberate sniff. A mature, high-sugar tangerine will immediately release an intense, sweet, zesty, and incredibly refreshing citrus aroma. It will smell like sunshine, like flowers, like liquid candy. It should almost make your mouth water just from the scent. If you smell absolutely nothing, if it smells like plain air, or, even worse, if it smells grassy, herbaceous, or like wet leaves, the fruit is underripe. The essential oils, primarily limonene and linalool, develop in tandem with the sugars inside the fruit. They mature at the exact same rate. If the oils in the rind are underdeveloped, the sugars inside the flesh are underdeveloped too. They are inseparable. Trust your nose, always. If it doesn't smell heavenly right there in the produce aisle, it won't taste heavenly when you get home. Now, before you head out to the store armed with these 6 tests, we need to clear up a major, widespread, and costly misconception. Many people buy hard, sour, or underripe tangerines and think, it's okay. I'll just leave them in a fruit bowl for a few days to sweeten up. They think they can cure the fruit. Let me be absolutely clear. This is a complete and utter myth. It is a lie perpetuated by the grocery industry to make you feel better about buying bad produce. Tangerines are what botanists call non-climacteric fruits. Unlike bananas, peaches, or avocados, which continue to ripen off the tree by converting stored starches into sugars, tangerines have no starch reserves. Once that fruit is cut from the tree, it stops producing sugar immediately. The sugar content is locked in forever. You cannot sweeten it on the counter. You can't put it in a paper bag. You can't leave it by the window. The sugar levels will never increase. Now, you might leave them on the counter and notice they taste a little less sour after a few days. But that isn't sweet. That is the citric acid breaking down and degrading. Without sugar production to replace that lost acid, the fruit just tastes flat, dull, and watery, and it will rapidly dehydrate. To preserve that perfect juiciness you spent all that time selecting, you need to store them in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator. Cold temperatures slow down the respiration rate, which locks in the moisture and keeps the juice locked inside those precious cells. So, there you have it. The 6 traditional tests of a master fruit picker. Which of these tests had you never heard of before? Let me know in the comments below. I read and reply to as many as I can. I genuinely love hearing about these lost traditions. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of citrus and want to learn more, we have so much more coming. If you want to learn how to use these perfect tangerines to make a traditional, old-world citrus marmalade, or how to dry the peels for a fragrant, soothing winter tea, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep it traditional and happy picking.